I'd like to welcome everyone to the November 2015 Blount County Board of Commissioners meeting. This time, if you would give your attention to the evacuation procedures.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you've reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
This time, Commission come to order. Please register your presence by voting yes. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The chair will now stand for a motion to set the agenda. Commissioner Carver moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Lewis seconds. Motion is to set tonight's agenda. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to set the agenda as published. Vote no not to set. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. 21 yes. The agenda is set. Agenda item B, the consent calendar. The chair will stand for a motion to approve the consent calendar. Commissioner Samples moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Carver seconds. Pending motion is to approve the consent calendar. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to approve the consent calendar. Vote no not to approve. Anyone yes, 0 no. The consent calendar is approved. The next item of business is item C. Public input on items on the agenda. Does anyone wish to speak to any item on tonight's agenda? Seeing no hands, there are no items of business under D or E. The first item of business is F1. The chair will stand for motion on item F1, a request for budget transfers in the general fund budget. These are referenced as in pages 25 to 43 in the packet. Commissioner Samples moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Lewis, is that correct? Motion is to approve budget transfers in the general fund budget. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a request from clarification from the finance director and then some discussion. So my question or request would be for Ms. Janot would be, please explain why the reappropriations needed do not match the totals in the column noted as difference and changes.
Ms. Janot, you're recognized.
Are you referencing the first page though, the spreadsheet after the transfers page?
Yes, the column, the orange, it says change and difference above it. Why do those numbers not match the reappropriations needed?
I believe that there were some items, and we've had various iterations of this study. And I believe that there were some items that ended up in the budget in one fashion or another that perhaps did not match exactly with that first column.
By first column, do you mean difference or by commission approved?
Commission approved, yes.
Okay, all right, so further clarification, I understand, I can see the commission approved in the final product, and that's what the difference column is, but how come we're not transferring what's in the difference column? How come we're transferring what's in the sidebar here of reappropriations needed?
Ms. Janot, you're recognized.
Okay, I believe that is because what ended up in the budget due to various iterations that we have had of the Evergreen study may not have been exactly that first column. Therefore, those differences will be different.
Commissioner Monroe.
Okay, I see the change, like we'll just take the circuit court clerk, for example, is $36,205. But in the reappropriations, we're actually reappropriating $72,000. And then we have some where we're taking out, for example, the trustee, we're actually taking out $2,900, but yet the annualized cost, the change was $2,529. So does that mean that the sheriff and the trustee and the health department got more than they needed and they're going to get to keep more than they needed?
Ms. Janot, you're recognized.
No, no one will get more than they're needed, nor will they be allowed to keep more than they're needed.
More than
Again,
they
and
were
I have just,
appropriated, or need is a nebulous term.
Okay, more than was approved, because after the adjustments, essentially the final product is saying that we had 4 departments here that needed less than what was appropriated and several more that needed more than what was appropriated. But those numbers don't match the final product, so I'm asking why that extra money is going to stay in those accounts if they were appropriated more than they actually needed.
Ms. Janot, you're recognized.
the final product column will match what is in the budget with this transfer.
So you're saying that these changes will make what we see in the final product? Okay, but I just don't see how the difference in the reappropriations match, and that's what I'm not reconciling here.
Well, and that's what I'm trying to explain. We have had various iterations of the Evergreen study. Therefore, what ended up in the budget maybe didn't exactly match what was approved by the commission, and we are now correcting that so that it will match the final product column.
Ms. Monroe.
Okay, I'm still a little unclear on this, unfortunately, but, so I'll just leave with some comment. For several months, I have emailed the HR director questions about the Evergreen study and have not received answers. In September, I asked for more information and was told the information I requested would be sent ASAP. It was not. Last week, again, I requested the information and did not receive it. The way the Evergreen study was handled and the request for information on the study from start to finish have left a lot to be desired. Thank you.
Commissioner Daly, you recognized.
I would like to know if the Evergreen study is finished.
Yes, it's my understanding that it is.
Commissioner Daly.
So when will we be getting a copy of it?
You recognize Ms. Joy.
I'm sorry, I don't know. We will check with the HR department.
Ms. Daly, you recognize.
Okay, thank you.
Are the members ready for the question? Pending motion is to approve budget transfers in general fund budget. Vote yes to approve the transfers, vote no not to approve. Nineteen yes, 2 no. The budget transfers are approved. The next item is F2. The chair will stand for a motion on agenda item F2, resolution 1511-003 to amend the general fund budget by $7,119. Commissioner Lewis moves, Commissioner Stinnett seconds. Motions to adopt 1511-003. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt resolution 1511-003. Vote no not to adopt. Twenty-one yes, 0 no. The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is agenda item F3. Chair will stand for a motion on item F3, resolution 1511-004 to amend the general fund budget by $140,697.93. Commissioner Caskey moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Farmer seconds. Motion is to adopt resolution 1511-004. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple of questions for Ms. Janelle.
State the question.
Okay, I just want to be clear, this is local money that was left over, not spent from last year's budget. Is that correct? This is not the actual grant money from the
Ms. Janelle,
TDEC.
you recognize.
Yes.
Okay,
This is Commissioner Monroe.
okay. Also, on the paperwork in the packet that was put in here, there is a listing of B. Rayner Kronos. Why would B. Rayner be listed with Kronos?
Ms. Janelle, you recognize.
The account in question here is the reserve account in, general county. And that is just an adjustment of the reserve relative to Kronos, that actually has nothing to do with this, this transaction right here. It was put in here to show that there was a reserve for this TDEC amount.
That's just a snapshot of the
It's just a
account.
snapshot, yes, at June 30.
Right, but I just was wondering why the volunteer's name was associated with an accounting item.
Does this
with
have
Kronos.
anything to do with resolution 1511-004?
It does not, but it's in our packet as information.
All I can say is it is a reserve relative to Kronos.
Okay, could you look into that and let me know why it says B. Rayner?
Yes.
Thank you.
Are the members ready for the question? Pending motions to adopt resolution 1511-004. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt. Eighteen yes, 3 no's. Resolution is adopted. The next item of business is agenda item F4. Chair will stand for motion on item F4, resolution 1511-005, to amend the general fund budget by $1,200. Commissioner Carver moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Hedrick seconds. Motion is to adopt resolution 1511-005. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt. Anyone yes, 0 no. Resolution's adopted. Next item of business is agenda item F5. Chair will stand for motion on item F5, resolution 1511-006, to amend the general fund budget by $33,453. Commissioner French moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Allen seconds. Motion is to adopt resolution 1511-006. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question on how this was actually calculated. When they calculate the hourly and the overtime, do they factor in I know it wouldn't be a huge chunk, but do they factor in the healthcare cost, like a prorated healthcare cost and indemnities and benefits?
I'll bring someone from the Sheriff's Department to the podium. If you'll identify yourself for the answer, sir.
Yes, sir. Jared Millsap from the Sheriff's Office. To answer that question, yes, we basically billed them for 35 an hour and paid the officers 30 an hour to offset that cost for retirement and medical claims.
Thank you.
Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt resolution 1511-006. Vote no not to adopt. Anyone yes, 0 no. Resolution's adopted. Next item of business is F6. Chair will stand for motion on item F6, resolution 1511-007, to amend the general fund and capital projects budgets by $579,064. Commissioner Samples moves. Commissioner Taylor seconds. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized. The pending motion is to adopt resolution 1511-007.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have some questions for the Sheriff's Office. I wanted to know if any of this records management will have anything to do with the jail, or is it just what's happening on the streets?
Ms. Saps, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, it includes a jail records management portion function as well.
Okay.
Commissioner Monroe.
Will that include classification?
I'm sure it does. Just it's the jail module. I don't have the technical details, Chief. I think he's here.
It's
And he
behind
assures me that it does.
May I ask Keith some questions?
Yes, Mr. Millsap, you'll have a seat.
Thank you.
Mr. Hackney, you're recognized. Commissioner Monroe, go ahead and state your question.
Okay, could you explain to me what this will do in terms of the jail and classification?
Mr. Hackney, have you gone over any of this in any other meeting?
We've discussed some of the things in prior IT committee meetings, and we had a budget work session a few months ago. I'm not sure when. We discussed a few things.
Okay, go ahead.
In what we have in the package is essentially to replace everything that we currently have. It will start at handling jail intakes. It'll handle records information. It will work with mobile devices we have in the cars. So it will encompass everything that we do that involves computerized records. I don't have specifics about the classification program, but it does provide the ability for us to continue the same functionality we have now, which is to classify, low, mid, high security, things like that, to provide those functions. I don't have details of it right now because we don't have it installed. So, if you have specific questions about what it does, or
Commissioner
Well-
Monroe, go ahead.
Well, there's a concern about classification in the jail. And so I'm wondering, is this going to do what we need in terms of inmate classification?
I'm just making an assumption, but I would assume it does because it's a package that's used in jails across the country. They've got about 1,500 customers across the United States, used in jails all across the country. We went on site to a location in Spartanburg, South Carolina, with a facility with probably 700 or 800 bed facility, and we're very impressed with what they did. It handled all the requirements that they had for their facility, so we felt like it would handle the needs that we had in our facility.
Commissioner Monroe.
Okay. What else will it do in the jail? Is it just primarily classification?
It will handle everything that we need to track as far as inmate movements. It'll have, their history information for local criminal histories, background checks. It'll have some medical information for the medical unit to be able to utilize. It'll interface with our fingerprint system. It will interface with our commissary, third-party commissary vendor that we have. Any of those interfaces that we have like that, we'll work with those as well.
Okay. Will it have like the record of how long they're going to be in there? Will it track them from start to finish?
Yes, ma'am. From the moment they come in, they will be, actually, when the system's fully implemented, it will happen beforehand because records and information will start from the officer in the car, actually from 911 center. Those records will start being built at the 911 center. The officers in the car will have access to continue building on that record. And when they come to the jail facility, the intake officers will be able to take what's already been input into the system and utilize that, pick from that, build the jail record, as we would call it, and then track it from there until the time they're out. It'll provide sentence calculation, everything based on what their charges are and things like that too.
Okay. I asked for the annual cost and I was given a number of 64,000. Is that going to be for the entire cost of everything? What you're doing in the jail, what you're doing out on the streets, mobile, all that?
Chief Bill Sass, would you like to come up? Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. I wouldn't go far. The first year maintenance cost is included in the project, but the second year maintenance cost is $64,255. So
For everything?
that's the estimate for the whole system, yes.
Okay, and so you estimated around 65 grand? Okay,
Yes, and that will offset some of the costs that we're already paying for maintenance costs now on our current system. That will go away, so we'll be able to use that money as well to offset some of that cost.
okay. One more question. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Bill Sass.
Thank you, Chairman.
Are the members ready for the question? Motion is to adopt 1511-007. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt. Twenty yes, 1 no. The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is item G, statements and announcements. Seeing no lights, we'll move to item H, public input on items not on the agenda. If you'll come forward, Ms. Jones, introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Susan Jones. I'm president of the Blount County Historical Museums Board. At the moment, I'm also the curator and I'm doing the work of the treasurer. But I came to you about 20 months ago and asked for some relief. We have 3 organizations that are in county buildings, and we are the only one of the 3 paying utilities. And had we not paid utilities, we would not have reached a debt. Our curator, when we ran out of money or came very close several years ago, said that he would work free until we could have the money to pay him back. Well, he has resigned, and right now we owe him about $22,000. We've gotten down from 26.5, but we are really hoping that we will fit in your kindness into the same category as the other 2 organizations and not be charged utilities, at least for several years, until we can get that debt paid down. I know you can't do anything about it tonight, but I'm hoping that you'll put your thinking caps on and figure out a way that will make that possible for us. And I really appreciate your listening to me.
Anyone else? Seeing no hands, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Member asks unanimous consent to adjourn to the January meeting. Is there an objection? Hearing no objection, we're adjourned till the January meeting.